Yeah, Gilbert Arenas is also one of those guys where he could be a point guard or a shooting guard, and it's kind of hard to tell. But
Yeah,
which brings us to topic number one:
nice
top five shooting
transition,
guards in the
Cody.
NBA right now.
Hey, you been working on your transitions?
I've been
You've been
prac-
working on your transition O?
Yeah, I've been practicing all week.
Nice. I've been working on
Transition D?
nice. I've been working on derailing Cody's transitions. So let's talk about
Nice, Court.
let's talk about Brandon Roy some more.
Court's transition D is so good.
Yeah. Got that transition defense.
Holy moly.
Working on my transition offense all week long. Still the best court.
Nope.
An all-time transition D.
Yep. I've been practicing. Okay,
Court,
no.
take us where you want to go.
I'll go
Wherever you
first.
want to go, Court.
I'll go first. I don't
go
remember
first?
mine, so I'm going off the top of my head. Like I might forget someone that was in my top 5. You know what I mean? But
Wait, did you derail things, or are we going back to the?
no,
top
we're
five?
going. I'm putting myself on the bench. I'm going out of the game for a breather.
I thought you were starting.
Wait,
I am
yeah.
starting. Never mind.
Yeah.
Court gets transition
Quick
D
breather,
twice.
back in.
Yeah, back in. LeBron
A
style.
little timeout, 30
All right.
second.
Yeah. Okay. At number 5 in the league, Zach LaVine. I feel like
Ooh,
he's kind of gone under the radar, but he's still a great player. I think he's gonna get there's been rumors about him getting traded soon because the Bulls suck. So it'll be super interesting to see where he ends up. Warriors were one of the dark horse teams to get him, but the problem it would involve trading Clay, which emotionally I don't want to do. But Zach LaVine's better right now than Clay for sure. Yeah. Wait, hang on. I got let me make sure I'm not missing someone. Oh yeah, okay. At number 4.
Where are we at? We got Zach LaVine at 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4 in the league. Oh man, this gets really tight, but I'm gonna go. Oof. Donovan Mitchell.
at 4.
No. Ugh.
Hey, do you think?
Cody,
No.
can you
You're-
edit this in
no,
the
you're
Court's screen,
He's-
his list, and then every time he makes an indecision, he has to go back up and down.
He's gonna be no. You're right. He's gonna end up being 3. I'm gonna put Anthony Edwards at 4. Donovan Mitchell at 3. Jaylen Brown at 2. Devin
Ooh.
Booker at 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice list, Court. Nice
Yeah.
list.
Can any you want to go in depth on any of those?
Maybe let's run through each of our lists and then we'll debate the orders.
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
more right.
I'll debate your order. Maybe I want to go back to debate first.
Oh, Jamie's debating the debate. Okay,
I've been
no,
working
you
on
go,
it.
Jamie. Go.
All right. So at number 5, I got Anthony Edwards. I think he's a superstar, but he's got tons of room to grow still.
Yeah.
He is a beast athletically, and he is super skilled.
Yeah.
But again, I think he's got tons of room to grow. So
Mhm.
good for him. But he's
the list.
coming in at number 5. Yeah. Number 4, I got Cam Thomas on the Nets. Yeah, he's ranked, I think, 3rd in PER this season so far among shooting guards.
Wow.
He's put up pretty big numbers. I think he's averaging around 26, 27. I like his game. I like young guys. Whatever. Stinky take. You're stinky. Number 3, I got Zach LaVine. I honestly think he has the potential to be the best shooting guard in the league. I did 2 years ago. I'm not really sure what's going on with the Bulls and him, but I think with the trade rumors and if he goes to a new team, we'll see kind of a reemergence.
Yeah.
Number 2, I got Donovan Mitchell. Huh?
You've always been kind of a Zach LaVine guy.
Yeah, I like his game a lot. I mean, it's hard not to like super athletic.
And can shoot the 3.
Yeah, can shoot. Good confidence.
Yeah.
He's a hooper, and he's still young. He's got time.
And
Donovan Mitchell, number 2. He just reminds me of Dwayne Wade in so many ways. And, I mean, we'll get into that top shooting guard debate. soon enough. But yeah, he is a hooper, and I kind of wish. I don't know if he might be underrated these days. When he was on the Jazz, and I'm not sure if it's just like I don't watch as many Cavs games. I don't watch as many highlights. But when he was on the Jazz, it seemed like he was making huge plays night after night. Whether it was like dunking on somebody, game winner, putting up 40. So I know he is doing those things on the Cavs. I just feel like I see less of it. Maybe
I
hear
think
less of it.
I think in my mind and a lot of people's minds, did they lose to the Knicks in the playoffs last year in the first round? They did. I think that stuck in my mind and a lot of people's minds where it's like, they could have and should have won that series and like he could have carried them. And like if he had a series like he's had in some of those series with the Jazz, they would have beat the Knicks and people would have been talking about Donovan Mitchell a lot more. But it just, so maybe this year, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a great point. I think that probably plays into it as well. For me, I think he has potential there's a bunch of guys that I think have potential to be number one shooting guard in the league. I don't think it's set in stone. I'll go with Devin Booker 2 as my number one right now, but I think there's a ton of opportunity for somebody else to take that spot by the end of the season.
Damn, I have Jaylen Brown at 2 and Jamie doesn't have him in his top 5.
I started with Jaylen Brown on my list, and then he kept moving down because I kept thinking about how him and Jason Tatum just like can't get it done. And I feel like out of any of the shooting guards on this list right now, other than Devin Booker with Kevin Durant, like nobody else has a better teammate. And I don't know. Maybe if Jaylen Brown was away from Jason Tatum and he could shine a little bit more, because right now I think of him as like the big dunk guy and like occasionally could like put some numbers up, but Jason Tatum like outshines him by
Okay.
a mile.
Wait, we can debate this after Cody's sake, but I have a point to make, but I'll save it.
Dude, make your point. Screw Cody's freaking agenda.
The way you love Zach LaVine, Court went to school and took classes with Jaylen Brown. So
yeah, we're basically homies. So
lovers.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Court started a podcast with Jaylen Brown instead of Third Take.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. The OnlyFans peanut butter.
Yeah.
Is that Jaylen was cool with?
I don't know. I don't. Oh, yeah. No, he's on that. That's our shared page.
Don't downplay it, dude. I mean,
yeah.
You're successful.
No. It's just casual. We have an OnlyFans page together. It's just like
You want to give us a little like sneak peek of that content right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you do if Jaylen was right next to you?
Oh yeah, baby.
There you go.
Court, put those things away, dude. We need to be giving that away for free.
10 million views.
That would be sick if that blew up. If that's what took us to the next level, I'm with it.
I'm
both feet up.
You know me, but I've been trying that more than you know.
You've been building the following.
Yeah. All right, Cody. Top 5.
Okay.
Yeah, Cody, let's hear it.
Before I say mine, I do also want to say we talked before the podcast and we decided Jimmy Butler and Paul George are small favorites.
Good point.
So that's why none of those guys are on their list. Our list would be different if we counted them as shooting guards, but they're small favorites. Yeah. Okay, coming in at 5. So I have a Ja Morant situation. Like if this guy's healthy, he's my number 5, but he's been injured for a little while, and that would be Bradley Beal. Brad Beal is my 5th spot, but because he's injured, I'll put Zach LaVine right there.
Dang.
So I go Zach LaVine at 5, Anthony Edwards at 4, Jaylen Brown at 3, and then I got Booker at 2, and the Spider Donovan Mitchell at 1.
You love Donovan Mitchell.
I love Donovan Mitchell. Like what you said, he's like Dwayne Wade, but he's a little smaller, but he can shoot better. And like I think he attacks the rim so hard. He's so explosive, and he can free really well. And I feel like he's a solid defender. Where him and Booker to me are 1A, 1B. Like if either of them 1-2 is fine with me. I just prefer. I like watching Mitchell better. I prefer his game, and I think, he just hasn't had the same teams Booker has.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Devin Booker has the highest player efficiency rating in the league right now for shooting guards.
Yeah.
And
that doesn't.
It's kind of surprising.
He's missed some games, I think, too, right? Yeah.
But he still qualifies.
Yeah.
Minimums. But I like your list, Cody.
Yeah.
Let me just ask that, like, truly, without weighing in personally, do you think Donovan Mitchell really is number one on that list?
Yeah.
Top shooting guard in the league today. You'd take him over anybody else if you were starting a team.
Yeah. Well, if I was starting a team, maybe I'd take Anthony Edwards because of
age. Yeah. But like for this year,
right season. Now, I'm taking Donovan Mitchell over any of these guys.
Yeah,
I don't think Donovan Mitchell's hit his prime. Do you? Do you guys?
He's like getting into it. I think him, Booker, those guys this year.
I mean, we'll see.
It feels like it's a real changing of the guard year. I feel like people have been saying it for a few years, but this is the first year where it's like.
Yeah, I was just thinking about
coming or here.
I was just thinking about that when we were like making these lists. That like just a couple years ago, our top two or like in our top three for sure would have been like Harden and Clay. And now they're not even like, I don't think any of us probably even thought of putting either of them top five. And they would have been probably the top two just a couple years ago.
I think unfortunately Clay's 2 injuries, he's probably never going to come back to, I'm not going to say definitely because anything is possible. Kevin Garnett. Yeah. But, I don't think he's going to get back to where he was when we would have put him in that top list. But there was a time that Clay Harden, was probably top 2 in the league, and Harden was top 1.
Number 1. Yeah.
And you could have made a case
that was not that long ago, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Well, pre-injury. Yeah.
Players could have made a case for Clay being number 1. Yeah. He was such a great defender.
If you needed a star to start your team, I think it definitely would have been Harden. But if you already had any kind of like number 1, you would definitely want Clay as your number 2. Like Clay's a better number 2, or like in their primes, Clay was a better number 2 than Harden, I think could be. But Harden's was a better number 1 than Clay could be.
Clay is probably the best number 2 of all time.
Yeah, it's like perfect for that role.
Well, as a true number 2, not like a number 1 being a number 2.
No, like a
or
true
Magic Johnson
option. Like a true number 2 option. That was never a number 1. Magic Johnson and Kobe both became number 1 options.
Yeah.
Clay has always been a
like a career number 2 guy.
He's the best.
Scottie Pippen's probably the other one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I take prime Clay over Scottie.
Dude, he could drop 60 in 5 dribbles.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
38 and a quarter.
Scoring.
Yeah, so you're saying guys like Dwayne Wade doesn't count as number 2 on the Heat. Like you're saying that's disqualified.
No, he doesn't. I don't.
Oh, okay.
Wait, so what do you guys think about did you not put him on your guys' list because he's injured or
Bradley Beal?
Like Bradley Beal.
Clay?
No, Bradley Beal.
I just haven't seen him long enough. I mean, he's looked pretty good coming back for the Suns, but if we're talking about right today now, like I just haven't seen enough.
Yeah, I want to see what he looks like this year. In the Wizards, I know he like still put up really good numbers and stuff, but like I just don't know. They were so bad. I don't know how to like hold those numbers. You know what I mean?
I think he led the league in scoring.
He did.
Yeah, that was a couple years. That was a couple years ago though, or he was at top 2 at least. He might have led, but yeah, I mean,
but like Zach LaVine can't lead the league in scoring. I don't think.
Yeah, no, that's true. But Zach LaVine's a better Well, actually, yeah, Zach LaVine's a better defender. And like, I feel like Zach LaVine, I don't know, could fit into a winning team better. Although I don't really know because neither of them. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where Zach LaVine will go.
Yeah, me too. I just don't care that much about scoring. I think if we were going to have a debate about best scorers, like that should be its own separate debate and group. But if you're talking about best, like I don't think Zach LaVine would need to lead the league in scoring to be the best shooting guard in the league.
Yeah, if he's just like really well-rounded all around and like
and the Bulls are
efficient, contributes to winning. Yeah.
Well, like Jaylen Brown, that's why Jaylen Brown's higher on the list for all of us than.
Yeah, except for Jamie, that's my bone to pick. All right.
So, pick that bone, Cordy.
You were like, oh yeah, he hasn't gotten it done with Jason Tatum and stuff. And like he hasn't been able to shine. Maybe like if he was the number one guy, he could. But they're really similar types of players. I feel like Jaylen Brown's just a better version of Zach LaVine right now. Like Jaylen Brown has come through in playoff moments. Like just because they haven't won, I feel like that's mainly because Tatum doesn't stack up against like the true number ones, like Giannis and like Jokic and stuff. Like Jaylen Brown's a great number two, but if your number one is like clearly not as good as like these best players in the world, basically, like that's a big disadvantage. And I just don't think if like you switch Jaylen Brown with like Zach LaVine or something, like I don't think Zach LaVine's gonna take them. They're gonna go any farther. I think they might like lose a series or two that they won. I just think like he's a better defender. I think like Jaylen Brown's a significantly better defender than Zach LaVine. About the same shooting. I would take him as a scorer overall right now. He's just a little bit more like fully developed as a like fully like well-rounded and like as a player. Yeah. I feel like the other guys, like when you're saying, oh, if you switch him out, like Donovan, I put Jaylen Brown ahead of Donovan Mitchell. I'm kind of second guessing that one because now that I think about it, if you put Donovan Mitchell on that team with Jason Tatum or Devin Booker, then yeah, maybe things are a little bit different. But everyone else, no, I don't think so.
You know what's crazy too is Mitchell, Booker, and Tatum are all the same draft class.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
And Booker didn't even start in college.
Yeah.
Booker might not be, but those other two are.
Mitchell, Tatum.
Booker was the same year as Cat and.
Who was the first pick of that draft? Was that Anthony Edwards? No,
that was Fultz and Lonzo Ball.
Oh yeah, and then Jason Tatum. Yeah.
And
Lonzo's a point guard, right?
Yeah.
That's what we would count Lonzo as a point guard.
Yeah.
Damn, I miss when Lonzo was good. I actually feel bad for him.
What do you guys think about Jaylen Brown versus Zach LaVine? I just think Jaylen Brown's better.
I think Jaylen Brown's better. I mean, LaVine just hasn't proved. He's always looked like he has the potential.
Yeah.
Hasn't proven it to me. And, you know, like I thought the Bulls were going to be good because I thought DeRozan was going to be the second option and Zach LaVine was going to step up.
Be that guy.
And where LaVine feels like he's the second option on that team to me.
Uh-huh.
I think it's like an efficiency thing where he's not quite there to that superstar level like the guys at the top of this list. Because even in Minnesota, he was like third option to Wiggins, and I get it. He was really young then, but still, I think Jaylen Brown, if they both went to their own team and were the number one options, I think Jaylen Brown would be better, and I think he is better now. And yeah, then when you factor in defense, then he's I think considerably better. But yeah, I got Brown.
I think the problem is that he's on the Bulls with DeMar DeRozan, and he's not considered the number one guy.
Yeah.
I think that DeMar DeRozan is like the closest you can get to being tier one, but still being tier two superstar.
Yeah.
I think DeMar DeRozan has proven that he can't be the number one guy on a team and win a championship.
Yeah.
On the Raptors, on the Spurs, and now on the Bulls. So let's see where Zach LaVine goes. But I'd love to see Zach LaVine and Jaylen Brown be the number one guys on their team, and I guarantee Zach LaVine would have a better career.
You're telling me that's
well, I think Jaylen Brown's played better than Zach LaVine as a number two. They're both number twos.
But I think Zach LaVine's game is more of a number one than Jaylen Brown's. I think Jaylen Brown actually is like a solid number two guy. And
I feel like either of them.
I don't think
is the
Jason Tatum's the number one.
That's what I mean. When you're talking about number one guy, like I think any team that has either of those guys as their number one guy is going to be really not a good. Like if you think about it, The Celtics can't get over the hump with Jason Tatum as their number 1 and Brown as their number 2. The Bulls are bad with DeRozan as their number 1 and LaVine as their number 2. Like, the true number 1 guys that like can actually take you far, there's like 5 guys. And like, I think Jaylen Brown and Zach LaVine aren't even close. Like, I don't think the reason why they couldn't win is if you think about everyone who's won a title in the last like 20 years, except for the Piston, has had a top 20 player on their team. None of these guys are even close to that. I mean, none of these guys are Giannis, Jokic, Steph, KD, LeBron.
What about Kawhi Leonard when he won it with?
Yeah, but that's an exception because I think Kawhi would have been like a top 20 guy of all time if it wasn't for the injuries and derailing his career. Like, he was a top 20, like he was that kind of player. So that's like a weird situation just because his body and injuries is like one of the weirdest things I've ever seen of like what happened with him.
I will say I think Tatum might be that guy now, though. And I know
you think?
I'm talking down Tatum and the Celtics generally on this podcast. the last few games, I've been eating my words every week after I talk about him.
Yeah.
He looks so good.
Yeah,
and
the Celtics look so good.
He didn't have a point guard, and he was young when he played the Warriors. He has a point guard now, so he doesn't have to do the playmaking, which I think it's still his biggest weakness, but I think he's gotten better, and I think that responsibility won't be on him. And his and he's always had the 3 and get into the hoop, but his mid-range turnaround game that he's pulled out this year has kind of made me rethink my my slander on his name. My slander.
We'll get a retake in here one of these days, so we can all come clean to the basketball gods.
Yeah.
Still, Celtics are a bust, and Tatum's overrated.
Yeah, none of us even really hate the Celtics. I don't know. So that's how you know the take is authentic, and they are actually frauds.
Okay, but let's talk about this other take that Jamie just made in the top 5 point guards. Cam Thomas was ahead of Anthony Edwards.
No. Wait.
Jamie had Cam Thomas at 4.
Oh.
Yep. I did put him I just like a guy with good potential, and I really liked looking at the player efficiency rating for these guys because I'm all about winning. And like I said, he is top 3 in the league right now, shooting guards.
You are.
And his 26, 27 points per game too. I mean, yeah, I think he has super potential. And right now I would put him at 4.
But okay. Would you, if you were starting a team right now, would you take him over Anthony Edwards? Would you be like, I'm starting my team with Cam Thomas over Anthony Edwards?
I don't know enough about Cam Thomas's personality and who he is. I think that all weighs into a decision. I like looking at the psychological factors and characteristics of personality traits.
Okay, but if you were saying just based on their game.
But I don't base things just off their game if I'm looking to start an organization around somebody.
He looks at the man.
Yeah, but if you said
I like looking at the full man.
Jamie
Nothing in front of me, just the man.
Do you really believe that Cam Thomas is better than Anthony Edwards? Is what I'm trying to get at.
Dude, he's been putting up some pretty solid games this year. He was towards the end of last year too. And I just think that he has a ton of potential. So for the sake of my list, yeah, I'm freaking going with Cam Thomas at number 4.
Wow.
Damn.
And we're all about the PER, baby.
I'm
going to bring a PER every single episode.
I'm going to find a player. I'm going to find a player that you love all time and find one whose PER is awful and then bring it to the next episode.
Find Dwayne Wade.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's just Dwayne.
I got a target on my head now.
Yeah.
D Wade, you and me, baby, against the world.
Jamie, you might have the best PER for host on this podcast. I'll tell you that much.
For sure. 100%.